So I'm here with Jordi Puyanero, who is the Minister for Digital Policy and Public Administration in Catalonia. You seem to have an agenda around digital transformation, and you're also interested in how you would integrate blockchain technology into some of that. So maybe give me a little bit of a quick outline of what you're doing.
Well, actually, the World Economic Forum said in a recent report that humanity faces three great challenges. Migrations, climate change, and the digital revolution we are living. So digitalization must be an issue which every government must have in its agenda. And the Catalan government, we are really focusing on how digital technologies will change our society, will change our economy, and we have a plan for that. And blockchain will play an important role.
In what way? How will blockchain play?
Well, blockchain will be one of these digital technologies will change, like we've seen with artificial intelligence. We're seeing with artificial intelligence, with 5G, with big data. In my opinion, like the internet brought us universal connectivity, blockchain will bring us a new universal governance. And that will affect the administration, will affect the economy, and will affect one thing which is very important in our society, which is trust. Trust is what moves economic transactions, is what moves the relation between the citizens and its governments by voting or by giving them, the confidence of governing. So blockchain will be a technology which will model trust in a different way we've seen right now. In the past, we've always needed someone else to be intermediate between two actors. The blockchain technology will be able to do this job. So it's very important to have blockchain as one of the technologies which will produce a lot of services that we will see in the future, and that will produce also, and all these technologies will be very important for generating this new digital economy.
So you're touching on a really interesting concept here, right? This is the idea of citizenship, the idea of the human being, and the definition of what that is and protecting that within this digital environment that we now live in. But what, to some extent, comes from that is the relinquishing of power to some extent by governments, right? There has to be, because right now if we think about identity, it is something that is typically controlled by a government. Do you see a different model in which human beings have a sort of more self-sovereign identity, and how does that fit within the agenda for what you are doing in Catalonia?
Actually, one of the projects we are launching in Catalonia, which is to have a self-sovereignty digital identity. And because we believe that it is very important that the monopoly of the identity is not exclusively, we believe it's not exclusive from the state point of view. We want to give power to the citizens or empower the citizens in a way in which they can handle better the privacy of its data, so we can give more control of its own data. It's also a good policy for data breaches in terms of cybersecurity regarding digital identities. It gives more security. It's also good for the effect of the Big Brother concept. No? We don't want our citizens to feel like they live in a Big Brother state. We don't want that. So blockchain provides them the possibility of having more confidence in the state. And finally, it's also a very important tool for creating the basics for new digital services that will need identity to be able to be provided. So I think blockchain will play an important role, and self-sovereignty identity will be key in constructing the digital society of the future, which we want it to be as well more democratic.
So this is also interesting in the context of where Catalonia sits within the structure of Spain. Right? So it is an autonomous region. There's obviously a lot of politics around that, but this notion of identity in the context of that, how does it? How do you think of that in terms of the identity of your citizenships relative to, say, Spanish identity?
Well, we are not doing anything that the European Union is promoting. The EPSI program, which is the European project for fostering blockchain in various areas. One of them is precisely self-sovereignty digital identities, and they are actually promoting innovation in this area and putting money on it. So what we're doing is just following a policy of the European Union. That's all. If Spain wants to block such innovation, we don't agree, obviously. We believe that innovation is what moves progress, what it moves, also it has moved in the past, the benefits of a society in terms of economic indicators, and we will be on all these types of innovations and also in the identity issue. If someone wants to have the monopoly of the identity, it will have to explain the European Commission why.
So are you looking to attract, companies, innovative developers to the region? And what sort of a policy do you have around regulation and so forth with regards to how you do attract that talent?
Obviously, we are not an independent state, so we are a bit limited by some of the policies in which we would like to have the tools to be able to provide. For example, I'm thinking about specific visas, IT visas, for attracting IT talent, which is something which all nations are trying to do, working together with the technological centers, with the universities, trying to change our education system in order that in 10 years' time our citizens are more competent in terms of digital skills. There are a lot of things we have to do, and I think all of them help in attracting and creating and retaining the talent in Catalonia.
So, is there also any thought about the currency side of things? Obviously, as you reminded us, it's not an independent state, and so there is a common currency across Spain, but not yet. But in the interim period, there are people looking at interesting ideas about local currencies and the idea that there is a digital token that you could use that could be unique to. Have you thought about any of that?
We're thinking of that. We are not yet having. We haven't gone from the idea to the project.
Sure.
With identities, we have. Right. So our idea would be that in this 2020 to be able to launch a self-sovereignty identity project in Catalonia. In terms of currencies, we are waiting. We are in a more wait-and-see position, although we believe that tokenizing some markets, for example, energy-producing market, we are seeing now how citizens are starting to produce energy. What it's called the it's the word, I can't remember the word now. No, it's when you are also consumer and producer.
Oh, the prosumer.
Prosumer, that's right, the prosumers. We've seen citizens that using sun energy or wind energy, they are starting to produce. So we are now, we have a project in order to tokenize this energy production and try to create a market of green energy produced by the citizens. And it's a pilot project. I think in the end, we cannot call this a currency, but it's somehow a way of
exchanged value.
In terms of energy. Yeah. So we are piloting some projects in this area.
What is the status of the technology partners that you
at the moment, in most of our, we approved our blockchain strategy of the government just 6 months ago, so it's really new, which means that all these initiatives are right now, some of them, most of them pilot projects. Obviously, the identity project we are not seeking to do a pilot. We are seeking to do already a real project, and it is very important to pilot things because that gives you the knowledge of how then you can deploy that solution. And with most of the blockchain projects we are already working, like for example, we have also in waste collection or in organ donation. No? All these projects are right now in I would say, in a piloting phase. The reason is because blockchain is still in the hype curve, still in the beginning. So we firmly believe, or I firmly believe, that they will be blockchain will be one of the important issues. When I mean blockchain, I mean DLT technologies. In terms of changing a lot of economic models. So I think it's the time now to start experiencing with this technology, trying to get the knowledge, trying to get the talent, trying to build the ecosystem, and then have as well the possibility of developing an industry in this area.
I gather, therefore, that you are looking at this stage, your assumption is you'll be working with private blockchain solutions, with distributed ledger tokens as opposed to public.
Not only.
You're open to
yeah, we are open. Actually, the identity project, we haven't taken the decision yet, but we have the two options open, which is a permission and a non-permissioned network for that solution. So we are not closed to a specific solution in that sense.